Good afternoon, guys. Is it afternoon? Yes, it is. It's 1:30 this afternoon. It's race week, and everyone is thinking about how to look good in that suit. And I just had a nice epiphany, and I was like, what about we talk about one of the guys in here who now will look good in a suit for an entirely different reason, because it's going to be one of the most special moments of his life on Thursday. But nonetheless, I'm not going to give out any personal information. But what I wanted to do with this gent is to highlight what is actually a training program. How do you go through it? How do you make the changes? How does it work? And what do you get out of it? Okay? And the best way to get it is when I look at his log here. So this is a very good idea to give you an idea of how you should structure your training, or how you should plan it, or what you can do, just to give you an idea of what happens in a gym like here. So the first thing is, this is the gent here, and this is actually his log today. It has some measurements. Now, actually, it has less measurements than it normally would, because this guy, I've been communicating with him quite a lot, coming up to his big day and sending him a lot of messages. So we were actually sending measurements over WhatsApp versus actually doing them in the session. Normally, we were aiming to measure people regularly throughout the months. So when this guy came in, he came in last year, and what's the date? The date he came in was 5th to the 7th of 2018, and he weighed 89.6 kilos, and he had a waist of 99 centimeters, and his hips and shoulders. This is always a tricky measurement, it can change. But nonetheless, the big ones I look at, 89.6 and 99 centimeters on his waist. And this morning, he was 82 kilos, and he has actually been 80 kilos at the weekend. He just got a bit excited, and 86.5 centimeters on his waist. So the man looks massively different. I have photos, and I will be making before afters, and it's a really big change. He basically lost 12 kilos over the space of a year. That's 2.5 stone, and the guy was not heavy to begin with, and got massively stronger, bigger arms, bigger shoulders, more toned tummy, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, he did all this without having to destroy his life. We did straighten up his diet a little bit now for the last month, and he lost 4.5 kilos in a month. But what did we do day one? Well, day one, this gent came in, and we had a good long conversation of what did he want out of a gym. This goes all the way back here. I'm not going to give any information in technical. We had a big long conversation what he wanted out of a gym. We had to talk about his nutrition, what he was doing. And then very importantly, we assessed his movement. And you can see this variation of a movement screen. So we scored him across a couple of different categories. We have a couple of notes there. And, things like he almost got a 3 on his deep squat. He had great T-spine mobility, but his lower back was quite tight. So he was able to do it on one variation, but not quite on another. I won't go into the technicality of this. His hurdle step was nice. Inline split squat was very good, impressive. He had no real shoulder mobility problems, but he had no impingements. ASLR, his hamstring flexibility would be one of the things we're testing in this test. Could be better, it was uneven. We assessed his planks, looked at his push-up, press-up clearing test positive, which is actually normal for most people, 2.2 in his rotor stability, and his negative. Now, that might all seem like gobbledygook, but that is not you don't need to know that. That is for your coach to know. But these are the things that give us an idea of what we can get this guy to do safely in the gym without injury. This is a movement screen which has been designed by a physical therapist. Now, it is administered by me, and it is overseen by a physical therapist as well. We make programming modifications based on that. And we do have a lot of notes, but I blanked it out to not give away personal things. Like, there's personal notes here. We'll also have injury history, and we will also have don't do exercises. So his main goal, I just left it there. Look great in a suit for August 2019. Mission accomplished. And he wants to be able to lift heavy things. Also did good at that, and fat loss, muscle gain. So that was what this gentleman wanted to accomplish in the gym. And you can see there is an awful lot of training logs here. Every session this guy has done in this gym has been monitored, has been planned, has been recorded. Okay, so if we look here, this is what he was doing this week. Now, he's actually doing 3 sessions in a row this week because he's off for his big day. So not as big progress, but there has been progress in general. Now, it's nice to say people will make progress forever and ever and ever, but if that was the case, we'd all be lifting 500 kilos. But even on the first day, we started very, very easy. We started like with a very basic circuit. To give us an idea of what his starting point was, we were doing basic planks, we were doing chest passes, we were doing some dead bugs, didn't do these, didn't over time, and just 2 rounds of a couple of simple exercises. Now that seems very basic, but if we look here on his first, this would have been his first 2 weeks. He started here doing his squat, he only did 2 rounds here, 15-15, and by the time he got out here to, what were the dates on this? Just want to make sure this. The 10th of the 7th to the 24th. So yeah, that's actually 14 days exactly. So 2 weeks later, he had gone from doing 2 rounds here and actually did feel a little gassed at the end because he didn't finish here. So he did 2 rounds in this circuit, and at the end of that he was doing 7 rounds of almost the same exercises. So that was a substantial difference in just 2 weeks because started slow and gave him room to improve. And that's the most important thing. It is a nice idea to think, I'm going to go out of the gym every day and I'm going to be destroyed and I'm going to be tired, but you can't always make progress like that. You have to give the body time to recover. And you have to balance the workout that you can do all the things. Because even here, if we look, these are more his metabolic section. The first day, we only did 5 rounds of rope and he only did 2 rounds of the sled. And that was destroying him, you know. And then even the next day, 8 rounds. There's obviously going to be a lot of things. You're new to the gym. You don't know the exercises. Things can be different. But if we go forward now, even when he was doing dumbbell presses the first day, he was doing like 10 kilos just to take it easy. And the last day there now, today, this morning, we were doing 5 rounds of reverse crunches, renegade rows with 20 kilos, ring rows, wearing a vest, weighted push-up, he did 10, 10, 20, and chest supported row with 22.5 kilos, split squat, 17.5 kilos, dumbbell press, and feet on the bench, because that's an alteration, so we do try to keep that constant, 27.5 kilos. So that's like, you know, that's 55 kilos with dumbbells. That's a nice chunk of weight. And RDLs, 15 reps of that at the end, and shoulder press and prowler, and 10 kilos, 50 kilos. And if you look here, like even at the basic, and look, sometimes you'll do it and it might be too hard. We'll have to scale it back. But his sled here, even in the last section, went from 30 kilos to 40 kilos to 45 kilos to 50 kilos. And he'll probably get up the weights in the next 2 sessions, and then when he'll do a new cycle, we'll start again and generally improve as we go along. And the whole idea of it is to keep it that what is important here, what made this man, gave him the change, what made him stronger, what made him lose the weight, was the consistency. Month after month after month after week after day, session after session, not missing things. Like, I mean, these are all his trainings, and I'm even skipping tons of them. Like, there's a year worth of trainings in here, like, and everything here. If something's going on, make a note, alter. Someone can have a bad back pain one day. That happens. You're moving furniture. You're working in the bog. You can alter. We alter the program to suit. He was tired someday. 3rd day in a row, you changed things. You came back from a concert. You took that easy as well. We'll notice things that certain movements might not suit him. We will alter things to suit. And that's part of what going to someone else to take care of all this stuff. Because often what will happen is you might hit a roadblock. You might be doing something in your own training and you might not be getting the result you want, or you might be getting stuck and not getting a particular exercise, get the result you want. And if you've not dealt with that situation before, it can be very, very, very challenging to get around it, to get the will, to get the motivation and the knowledge to look it up. If you come to someone who is experienced in that, they will know. You know, there's a lot of things in life that you can do everything you want to in life. It's a case of, do you have the patience, do you have the focus, the discipline and the study to do it? You know, I mean, you can be a doctor. You can prescribe medication. It just requires 7 years of medical school and 2 years of residency. So, you know, you can totally do it. There's nothing out there to stop anyone from becoming a medical doctor except time, money, and study. That's really it. If you've, you know, even at age 50, if you decide, I want to go back and learn medicine, there's nothing to stop you. You can do it. Maybe you have the funds to do it. Maybe you have the time. Maybe you have the interest and the inclination. But for a lot of things in life, we don't. You know, it's like some people don't like, everyone can technically do plumbing. You know, everyone can technically be a doctor, everyone can technically be a pilot, but some things we choose not to do. It's easier often to get someone else to do it. And it's no different from talking about your health. You know, you can do very well by yourself with self-education, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I applaud it. But not everyone is the same. And if you find that you're at a place where you're not sure where to go next, or maybe you're not interested to learn, some people love the challenge and relish it and like to work against it. Some people don't. Some people want the result, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with paying someone for that, you know? So that's just to give an idea of one of the things that we do in the gym, how we alter things, how we change things. I'm not going to go into depth what I would change if someone had a problem on a particular day, if someone had a problem with the exercise, if a load was too heavy, if the technique wasn't great, if we wanted to scale things back. All of these things would be varied on the fly. Well, not necessarily on the fly. It would also be planned if it needed to be in the gym by the coaches here, by the head of programming, and so on and so forth, to ensure that everyone can make a benefit and have progress week to week, month on month, year to year. That's all you can really ask for, to keep ticking over and to keep going. And you'll always get to a point where some people are happy to do what they want. And I mean, it's a case of there's always going to be a line, you know, where performance begins, health ends. That's what a very smart man in Dublin once told me. I mean, you can look at all these insanely strong guys doing world's strongest man and all this, and they're incredible athletes. They can push monumental amounts of weight. But keep in mind that a lot of those guys have torn muscles, destroyed joints, have artificial joints, rotator cuffs, and all these kinds of things. And that's the price you have to be willing to pay to push and go through that amount of work. And if you want to do it, fair play to you, go for it. My hip is screwed from fencing. I have no problem admitting that. I knew a girl who was in her 30s when I was fencing, and she gave up, was on a national team, not because, well, partially because of back pain, but because all the painkillers and anti-inflammatories she was taking to deal with the back pain was giving her serious distress. So, you know, you can go as far as you want with things in life. Just remember, there's always a line, a sweet spot. Now, that's going off on an entirely different rant. But nonetheless, just to give you an idea of how we do the programming here in the gym. And if anyone is curious of how would I change this for me, how would this be different, how would I do that, don't be afraid to give us a message. I'll give you a call back and we can have a chat about it. Take care of yourself, guys.